In Hinton, Appalachian Ghost Tours partnered with the Campbell-Flannagan-Murrell House Museum to give folks a chance to experience both history and the paranormal. Our Megan Bailey takes us inside for more.
The Campbell-Flannagan-Murrell House was built in the late 1800s, serving as a home for generations of a Hinton family, and also as a general store for a time. Now, it stands as a museum and a part of Summers County history. The museum recently partnered with Appalachian Ghost Tours to offer a unique experience of history, culture, and potentially paranormal spirits. Attempting to come into contact with spirits can require some technology. And as the executive director of Appalachian Ghost Tours tells us, special equipment as well as ordinary objects can get the job done.
We have EMF meters that will go off if like an electric spike gets near you. We have REM pods that basically do the same thing, but they stay in a stationary area and they will make a lot of noise. We have cat balls that you wouldn't think would be anything, but they will just be sitting there on something solid and they will start to light up.
And though the house is simply a museum by day, even those familiar with the home have experienced unexplained happenings.
There's been times when I've been in this house by myself and heard footsteps and nobody's been in the house. So, yeah, I think that there's something going on, but I don't feel that it's malicious in any way.
This event is part of an ongoing drive for more paranormal tourism in Appalachia, bringing attention to smaller communities that are rich with folklore and paranormal history.
Southern West Virginia is absolutely overflowing with the haunted stories, the paranormal. There is an energy here like no other, and there is a history here like no other.
Here for you in Hinton, West Virginia, Megan Bailey, WVVA News.